Ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor and the pleasure to welcome Andria Zafirakou. My dear Andria, Mrs. Zafirakou, welcome. How are you?
Elena, hello. Nice to meet you.
I already know you. You know, I covered your story 3 years ago. I followed your steps about your nomination, about all the beautiful things that you're doing in London, and I really admire your work. It's incredible. All the things that you have done for these children are amazing. It's almost a cliche that saying that COVID has changed everything. And I think that your life has changed a lot the past 3 years. But I can't stop wondering if the essence of teaching can really be changed.
I think what I've learnt over the last year since being a teacher in lockdown is that I hated it. I hated teaching to a computer screen. It was the most unnatural thing for me. I also realized that I could learn again how to be better at teaching. So, just imagine your whole office being taken away from you and all your resources and everywhere, all your materials and everything that you used to use was taken away and you had to rebuild that. That's how I felt. But I think that there's been so many benefits from teaching in lockdown. But I think what has really stood out for me was that I noticed that the variability of poverty and those who haven't got to those who have got really stood out for me. But I think I've become a better teacher because I've had to change the way I teach. It's very strange, Eleanor, but I think there's been lots of changes. Yeah, well,
Even better.
can it be possible?
The sky's the limit. Okay.
Absolutely. But it's also, a credit to teachers, a credit to all the teachers across the world, how we've just had to, like many people, but everything's just had to turn, and we've had to learn this new language called online. And we've just had to do it. So it's been quite spectacular to see education, how it's adapted over the last year or so.
Mm-hmm. And how the children manage to adapt to this new way of teaching and education in general.
So I think the biggest thing is that they missed the social aspect. I think that was the biggest thing, and teachers missed it too. There is something powerful and raw and vulnerable when you're teaching in a class. You can't hide as a teacher. If you make your audience are staring at you right in the face, and you know whether or not you're on track, whether they understand. So that's one thing which was very different. I think what really made me wake up was that there are some students who were they were always very quiet and always used to kind of sit at the back. And these are the children who just did so well because there was no distractions. They were completely self-organized. They had good, family support behind them, peace, quiet, materials, resources, and these children really made progress. So they preferred that learning environment. So you have the two extremes. You've got some students who hated this world, the online world, but then you had some students who, because of their independence, they were thriving.
What it was important for you to do so that the lesson could be more interesting and more interactive?
I think it was the most exhausting period of my life because I used to carry this guilt every single day, guilt And the guilt was, did they enjoy that? Are they learning? Oh my God, I'm spending too much time on the computer. They've had 5 hours on the computer. Let's do something different. What can I do? What is going to make them engage? What is going to excite them? What's going to bring them joy? So I put a lot of pressure on myself to really think creatively outside of the box, to try and think, if this was me, would I really enjoy this experience? If this was my child, would they enjoy my lesson? So I think a combination of guilt, pressure, I think that's what kind of was weighing me down over the last few months during lockdown.
Dear Andrea, what makes a teacher charismatic, a charismatic one? Is it a talent? Is it a skill that you can learn?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's inside of you. I mean, come on, Eleanor, just like you, I love coming to work every day. I love young people. I love the environment, the ecosystem of schools. Um, I get so much satisfaction by inspiring and teaching, and seeing young people happy with what they produced, and see them grow, and also kind of telling them off, mentoring them, um, um, being part of their growth. I've really enjoyed that. So I don't know if it's charisma, or if it's just loving your job, because I just love what I do. It's you know if it comes to a point whereby my husband complains that I don't stop working, and I don't realize I am working, then yeah, I'm guilty in having the best job in the world.
Okay, and one last one. You are involved in work beyond the school gates. So, I mean that with the local police, you're trying to ensure that children can go in a safe way to their houses. So, do you think it's important for teachers to extend their responsibilities outside the classroom?
I don't know how you can't. I don't know how it's natural not to care, or just to kind of switch off. I don't know if you can do that. I mean, having the honor of working with young people, it's you can sense the temperature if a young person is not feeling well, or if there's something wrong, or if there's something happening at home, if there's something blocking them, you can sense that. So if you find out what the problem is and they tell you, isn't it your responsibility as a human being, as an adult, to try and put things right for them? Because sometimes, I think the responsibility which teachers have is immense. We're role models. We're sometimes the best adult they have in their life. Sometimes we're the only adult they have in their life. So this is a huge responsibility. So we've got to get it right. And I want to be able to go to sleep at night thinking that I've done everything I can. And Eleanor, sometimes it's important to think, what if that was my child? If that was my daughter's, wouldn't I want somebody to look after them? Yeah.
If you're feeling this, if it is a dominant feeling when you see children in the classroom that are not feeling safe enough. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Where I work, it's a very tough area. It's a very tough
Mm-hmm.
area. It's one of the highest deprived areas of London, of the UK. It's got we have the highest death rates in COVID in the borough. Our children are at risk going home. They're at risk coming home. They're at risk at home. So what you want to try and do is just make sure that you're taking away some of those pressures when they come into school. That when they're in school, they are children. They have the permission to grow, to be young, to experience their youth. That's what you want to do.
And how many languages you can say hello? I think it was 33. Maybe there are more now.
Yeah, well, quite a few. No, it's do you know, I remember when my yaya used to take me to school,
Mhm.
and she wasn't able to speak confidently, and sometimes I would translate to my yaya when my teachers were teaching, when teachers were talking to me, and she felt very nervous, she felt very anxious, and so just by saying, you know, namaste, kemcho, to families, their faces just light up and they think, wow,
Mhm.
you know,
It's
we
a
are accept.
connection.
Yeah, connection, acceptance. I think the word is acceptance. We
Mhm.
accept you, your culture in our community. And I think it's very respectful, and it's the tiniest thing, but it seems to make people smile, and that's a good thing.
Mhm. Now you're a writer as well. And how was this? How was this experience? You know, how did it felt writing
Oh my
all
gosh,
your?
yeah. Yeah, Ellen, that's a lovely question. So I think thank God for the first lockdown, because ever since I won the award, I was in an aeroplane, I think, for the majority of the year,
Mhm.
traveling all over the world, and you know, and lockdown made me stop and reflect and listen. And I was having a lot of people from all over the world and outside education, saying, you know, tell me your story. What's your story like? And if you know me, and you're my friend, they will say, "Oh my God, you know, you're the most boring person in the world." But there was something powerful in my stories, and my stories are all about, and my book is all about what's inspired me as a teacher. And all of those stories are about other people. Most of them are about my students that I've taught, the students that every single teacher in the world has in their classroom. So I believe that it's these stories that have made me a better teacher. The student who couldn't speak, the student with special educational needs, the student who was threatened to be removed from the home, the student who couldn't eat. You know, it's all these stories. We experience them in every classroom. So I think it was. I wanted to share the realities of what teaching in an inner city school is all about.
Thank you very much, Andrea. Thank you for everything. I'm looking
Oh,
forward to reading your book and come to
yeah,
Greece.
thank you.
We are waiting
I
for you in
can't
the
wait.
summer in Githio. Everybody's
In
waiting for you in
Gideon,
Githio.
I cannot wait. I can't wait. It's the highlight of my year coming to Greece. So, yes. Oh, thank you so much, Elena. Thank you.
Thank you very much.